Hi everyone. I'm excited to be here today to talk to you about some of the miracle stories that are happening right here in our own city, in our own state, every day. My name is Tony Kausha, and the title of our show is Tony's 50,000 Coincidence Miracles. Please note, this show is not about religion, and we're not trying to change anyone's religion, and we're not trying to get you to join any religion. It's just about miracle stories. I don't know of any religion on the planet that doesn't talk about miracles. That's why religions begin, because they have something that's telling them there's really a God. But we're not going to get into that. We're going to just talk about miracles and leave the decisions about all that up to you. So we don't care what religion you are. We just want to talk about miracles. If you are an atheist, I think you'll enjoy the program as well, although I can't guarantee you'll remain an atheist very long after you hear many convincing stories, coincidence kinds of stories about miracles. You can email me your own stories if you wish. We'll try to use all we can on the show. I can't guarantee we will, depending on volume and time, but you're welcome to send your stories on to us, and we will mention them when we can. You can send them to the following email address. But please notice that if we do use your story, we won't mention your name. We'll keep you anonymous. And we suggest that in your story, when you send it to us, don't use your correct name. That way anyone listening will not be able to figure out that it was you that sent the story in. The email address you can send your stories to is very easy to remember. It consists of 2 words and 3 numbers. The first word is Tony, spelled Tony, and the second word is and, spelled A-N-D, and the numbers are 777. So once again, the name is Tony and 777 at AOL.com. Well, let us begin. Our first coincidence miracle today is pretty amazing, I think. It's another story of me being at the beach this past summer. I get inspired to go to the beaches on occasion, and it's very productive. I can just walk along the beach and just pass out cards, and if people are interested because they're bored, they're sitting in the sun and they get bored after a while and they want to talk about things, I'm there to answer questions about the book, etc. So it's been a pretty good process, and I only go when I'm inspired to go. So I was inspired to go on this particular day. And if you heard the prior week's show, last week's show, we left on a wonderful story about being at the beach. So I encourage you to re-listen again to last week's story, week number 213. The last sharing on last week's show was similar to the one I'm going to be talking about here. So on the way down to the beach, I asked God which beach I should go to. And then when I get there, there's 4 beach fronts and there's 4 parking lots. So I have to ask him which parking lot, which beach should I go to. There's 4 there. And so he'll tell me to go to whichever one he wants for that day, because he knows who needs a card and who needs to talk about the book. So I get to this beach. I went where I was told. And as I'm getting out of my car, walking out toward the beach, there's a little place where there are some tables on the lawn. So between the parking lot and the beach, there's a little picnic area. And I had to walk through that to get to the beach. And there were 6 women there, and they were laughing and joking. And I didn't know if they were coming or going, or they leaving or what. So I thought, well, I got inspired. Give them a card, tell them about the book, because I don't know if they're going out to the beach or whatever. And so I gave them the cards. I told them about the books, and they asked about them. I said, coincidence miracles. They said, well, how does that work? And I said all the things you've been hearing every week on the radio show here. And so they just blew my mind, because they started telling me one after the other. They were so stunned. I mean, they had this look of awe on their face. They started telling me the following things. Number one, only 2 of the 6 people came to this beach together today. The other 4 people came independently and didn't know that all 6 of them were going to be coming to the beach. That's the first thing. The second thing is they all work in the same department of the same company. They work together all day long. They're kind of quasi-friends. They're work friends, but they're friends every day, 5 days a week at work. and they didn't think of coming to the beach together except for two of them. So that's a commonality. That's a coincidence, right? They wind up meeting each other as they get here. And like I said, only two of them came together. And another three of them met the other two in the ladies' room. That's how they met, and that's why they're here. And when they came out of the ladies' room to walk towards the beach, they met the sixth woman, who happened to just get out of her car. So the whole thing is a total amazing coincidence. The six of them arrived, they're friends, and I just explained how amazing. Two of them came together. They met three other ones in the ladies' room when they got here. And then when they come out for the ladies' room, there's five of them walking out to the beach. They meet the sixth one. And that's why they were all there laughing and joking. They were so amazed. They said, then you come over and you give us a card about coincidence miracles. So it was blowing everybody's mind, including mine. And I hope it's blowing your mind. If you ask God what to do, and he says go to the beach and hand out cards, then please do it, because then you'll experience miracles like this. And by the way, that's why I do this. I've been doing this for 50 years. I ask God what to do, I do what he tells me, and I get coincidence miracles like this every single day. And I hope you're experiencing them now. By now, everybody I talk to face, my children, my grandchildren, they experience coincidence miracles, my friends. So I know it's very common. The key ingredient is keep asking God in your mind what to do, and listen to the ideas that he pops back into your head. Listen to the inspirations he pops back into your head, the thoughts he gives you. After you ask your question, notice the thoughts you get. Ralph Waldo Emerson is very famous for saying, "Let us be still so that we can hear the whisperings of God." So Ralph Waldo Emerson knew about God speaking to us. And the saints, 10,000 saints, they all spoke to God and got inspired and got words coming into their mind and mental telepathy. So the key ingredient is ask God what to do. He has given us the gift of mental telepathy. He does inspire us, and then you'll get miracles like this all the time. And my job is to keep reminding people of these miracles so that they will ask God what to do and enjoy the friendship of God. Our next coincidence story is someone who asked God what to do. They got inspired to take a certain trip to deliver something to a friend out of state. And when they were driving out of state to deliver this, they say they had some internal doubts that this trip was worth the time and effort. But when they got to the exit to get off the highway, the final exit, they noticed that they saw a car passing them on the left side as they were pulling off, and the car passing them had a license plate number 7777. That's 4 sevens. As you know, the number 3 sevens is God's number. It means God's power, participation, and permission. That's what the 3 sevens connotes. God's power, permission, and participation. And so God was participating with this person on this trip and showed them by this license plate a nice little pat on the shoulder saying, I'm with you and you are doing what I want you to do. That's kind of what coincidence miracles tell us. Coincidence miracles tell us God is signifying that he's pleased with what we're doing. Our next coincidence miracle is from someone who was driving off to church on Sunday. They relate to us that they thought they were running late. They got into their car, they pulled out of their driveway and headed towards church. And they noticed in the corner of their eye, accidentally, in the corner of their eye, they saw a pickup truck following them that pulled up in back of them as they pull out of their driveway. And they're on their way to church. And in the corner of their eye, they thought they saw a license plate 777, but because it was a rear view mirror and they were looking at the numbers transposed, they decided to pull over and let the truck pass them to see if that was truly the number. And so they did. They pulled over, and sure enough, the truck passed them, and they saw it was the right number. And the great news is, after the truck passed them, the truck took a right turn and went off into another direction. So if they didn't spot it in the rearview mirror and they didn't pull over as they were inspired to do, pull over, they would never be positive that it was 3 7s following them. So that was an inspiration from God that got them to pull over and let them pass. So now they're positive that this was a truck with 3 7s. And they're also positive that God had gotten them to notice in the corner of their eye, because they weren't looking in the rearview mirror for any reason. It just, something made their eye twitch, and their eye caught a glimpse of this funny number, and then they got an inspiration in their mind, pull over and see if it's really 3 7s. So this is all very remarkable, and it's happened to me a lot in my life and a lot of other people, and you may have heard a lot of these stories already. But, the more you hear these stories, the more you've got to believe it's happening to a lot of people. A lot of people are seeing 3 7s like this as clues that God is sending them, and 3 5s and 3 3s. So I hope by you tuning in for the last 3 years and hearing all of these stories, you're convinced God is doing this to a lot of people, showing people that he's really with them. And he uses the numbers like Morse code. We see these 3 numbers, and they're holy numbers, and my books explain the meanings of each number. And it's all free on my website, by the way. Just go to my website, and it's all free. It won't cost you anything. You can listen to the book being read to you for free. We hope you'll buy books for friends and give them to them as gifts. But you can always go on the website and listen to the audio for free. And you can listen to all of our past radio shows. They're all on our website. So let me give you the website. You might want to jot it down and tell your friends it's all free. The website is W, that's for worldwide, so it's W, then CAT, cat, so it's WCAT, radio.com/miracles/. One more time now. It's WCAT radio.com/miracles/. Our next coincidence miracle is from someone who awoke before their alarm went off one morning, and they tell us it was like 2 minutes before their alarm went off, they woke up, and they were disturbed about their day because they had booked many, many things, and they were going to suffer a lot of stress and anxiety. They knew by the projects they had to work on and things they had to get done at work, etc. So they were very troubled about it. So they woke up 2 minutes before the alarm went off, and then as soon as the alarm went off, they noticed that their iPhone received a text message from a very close friend of theirs. So they opened up the text from their friend, and it was a scripture passage from Isaiah chapter 41, verse 10. So if you can remember Isaiah 41:10, here's what it says. It says, "Be not dismayed, be not afraid. I am with you, I protect you, I guide you, I will help you with my strong hand." So this person who wakes up 2 minutes before the alarm is laying there in bed thinking, what a nightmare day I'm going to have. And then the alarm goes off, and precisely to the second the alarm goes off, their text message comes in, perfectly timed, and the text message gives them Isaiah 41:10, which says, "Be not dismayed." Amazing story. Well, we've certainly had some amazing stories today, coincidences, Obviously, I tried to explain them very carefully so you could see the fingerprints of God, the footprints of God, that he orchestrates everything to work out perfectly on time. People meeting at certain beaches, 6 people show up, they didn't even know the other ones were going. People waking up before the alarm goes off when texts are coming in with messages. Certainly, we see a lot of evidence of God in the coincidence miracles. I hope you'll tell other people about them. I hope you'll keep talking to God, asking God for direction and guidance all day long so you'll have miracles. God bless you all. I will talk to you next week.